Hello everybody! Alright, today you have a quiz on proportional relationships. So, it says use the table below to answer questions 1 through 4. So, we have minutes and words typed, and we have minutes increasing by 3 every single time, and we have words typed, and we need to figure out what the rate that is increasing by. So, one of the ways that you can find the rate, or the constant, is with this formula right here. So we have K, constant, will equal Y divided by X. So Y is going to be the number of words you typed, and X is going to be minutes. So if I take Y, 120, and divide it by 3, that's going to give me my constant rate. So keep that in mind as we go through numbers 1 through 4. So number 1 says, Kenny is practicing a typing test to obtain a job as a paralegal. The number of words he can type is proportional to the number of minutes. If the test is 18 minutes long, how many words will Kenny be able to type? So, basically what they're asking is, first thing you got to figure out is what's the constant rate that he is typing. How many words can he type per minute? So, how many words is he typing in 1 minute? Or how many, for every minute, how many words is he typing? So, you really need to figure out what K is. Now, the next guiding question I wrote here is how many words can she type in 1 minute? Okay, again, you need to figure out how many words there are that Kenny is typing in 1 minute. And then you need to multiply that number by 18. Because as you can see here on the top, we have minutes. And we have 3, 6, 9, and 12 minutes, but we don't have 18 minutes over here. But if I can take my constant and multiply it by 18, then I can figure out how many minutes, how many words he'll be able to type in 18 minutes. So I can take K and multiply it by 18 minutes, and that's going to give me how many words he typed. That's going to give me Y. Okay, so just imagine here that you had 18 minutes. They're looking for how many words that would be typing. So just think about extending your table. Alright, so to make it really simple for number 1, find out what the constant is by dividing Y by X. Any of these pairs here, you could do this pair right here, or you could do this pair right here, 360 divided by 9. You could do 480. 480 divided by 12. You take any one of these pairs to figure out what the constant is. Okay? And then once you've done that, once you figured out what it's increasing by each time, you can multiply that by 18. So just figure out your constant. Y divided by X. Multiply that number by 18 to give you your answer right here. I know this looks very busy, but just listen to the words I'm saying so you can understand what's going on. Number 2. What number is missing in the table above? So what they're looking for is what number is missing right there that I highlighted in blue. Well, Y is the words typed, and X is the minutes, and K is the number of words typed per minute. So you have a formula here. Well, if you're missing what Y is, then you need to multiply your constant by X. In this case, X is going to be 6. Okay? So I'm going to rewrite that formula over here so you know what X is. You need to go ahead and figure out what the constant is. I'm not going to tell you what the constant is because really that's the main part of figuring out proportional relationships. Your job here is to find K each time. And once you find K, the constant, it's very easy. All you got to do is multiply K. Once you figure out what it is, multiply it by 18 for number 1 and multiply it by 6 for number 2. So these are going to, as long as you figure out what K is, you're going to be able to do that no problem. Okay, so make sure that the main part here, once you figure out K, is you're plugging in or substituting K into these formulas to get your answer. Alright, And again, for number 3, which number represents k? The constant of proportionality. So whatever you got for k, I'm going to tell you right now, it's one of these 4 numbers. You can circle it. Very easy question because you've already gotten k for number 1 and 2. So just go ahead and circle whichever one you think that is. So for number 4, it says Kenny typed 280 words. How long did he type for? Well, he typed 280 words, and if you divide that by the rate in which he's typing, it's going to give you your answer. So just take 280 divided by whatever k is, and that's going to give you your answer here. So 280 divided by k, again, you should be able to figure out k using this formula up here, and that's going to give you your answer for number 4. All right, number 5 says, answer the following questions. Be sure to show your thinking. During the fall, a pumpkin patch advertises 4 pumpkins for $11. Which equation below represents this proportional relationship? So, if I have to figure this out, I'm going to want to figure out what my constant is. So in order to do that, I'm going to want to take y divided by x yet again, right? I can tell you right now, I'm going to eliminate this one, and I'm going to eliminate this one. All right, so your choices could be B or D. Number 6, the table below shows a relationship between the number of miles traveled, x, and the number of gallons of gas, y. Which of the following equations best represents the relationship? Well, again, you're going to need to find what the constant is. And whatever the constant is going to be your answer. So again, I would take y and divide it by x. So 228 divided by 3, 380 divided by 5, 532 divided by 7. And make sure that when you're doing this, you're taking y and dividing it by x. And remember, you're going to take the big number and divide it by the little number. I know that's an old rule you used to do in elementary school. You know, you're basically flipping your thinking here. So I guess I'll try to help you out a little bit here. So you can take 228 and divide it by 3. And whatever your constant is going to be your answer. So that could be one of your math problems right there. Okay? More than likely, if you take this number, you're going to get your constant. In fact, let's find out if we're right. So I take 228 divided by 3. There you go. There's an answer right there. That easy. Real quick again. Y was 228, so 228 comes first, divided by 3, and you get your answer right there. Alright, going on to the second page. Alright, it says use the graph below to answer questions 7 and 8. Be sure to show your thinking. A movie theater has increased their ticket prices. They are shown below. So we have the number of tickets listed on our X line and the amount in dollars listed on our Y line. The graph shows a proportional relationship of the cost of movie tickets. Using the graph, determine the constant of proportionality. Well, you know, at first when looking at this graph, I thought, oh, it must be 10. Every ticket costs $10, right? I have one ticket here, and then I have $10 here. It looks like that's going to meet. Well, the problem with that is that the line doesn't intersect right there. Okay? So it looks like it's a little bit more than 10, which is very interesting. So it looks like your answer should be just a little bit more than 10. And if I had to guess, in all honesty, if I took this from my number right there and dragged it over to see what it is, I don't know. It could be 11. I don't know. It could be 13, I'm not really sure. It could be 12, I'm not sure yet. But the thing is that I don't know. So, the way to find a good pair to find a constant is one where it intersects. So if I follow my line up, I can see it intersects right here. It's a perfect intersection. It crosses, it's like, think of it a perpendicular street, right? Where you would cross the street right in the middle of the intersection right there. So I plotted my point right there. Now, I need y divided by x. So in order to find the constant of proportionality, I have to take my y. In this case, my y is going to be 60 because I can follow my dot right over there to 60. And then I could also find my x by doing the same method and taking my dot and following it down to my x value. So now I have my y value, which is 60, divided by my x value of 5. So whatever you get there, 60 divided by 5, is going to be your constant of proportionality. Excuse me while I tidy this up. The important thing to remember here is that in order to find the constant of proportionality, you have to find where your line is intersecting at the points. This is a good intersection right here. It's right on the mark. Some of these other ones don't quite hit the mark, but that one hits the mark perfectly. Now, you know what your constant is. So, if the movie theater seats 328 people, what is the maximum amount of money the theater can bring in during a show? Well, 328 people is really 328 tickets. So if I know what my constant is, I could have K being multiplied. Remember, K is going to be the amount of money it is per ticket. So if you did that here, your K is going to be, I don't know, it's $11, $12, or $13. So K could be $11, $12, or $13, but you'll get that answer by dividing 60 divided by 5. So it could be K, right, the amount it costs for one ticket, multiplied by the number of tickets, which is 328, will give me the cost in dollars for the amount the money the movie theater can make when it seats 328 people. Again, you got to find K. Whatever K is. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to tell you what it is. This is a quiz. All right? But whatever K is here, you can plug in down there. All right. Going on to number 9 here. It says, a kitchen sink holds 24 gallons of water. A full sink drains, meaning it is being taken away from, right? Subtraction. A full sink drains at 3 gallons per minute. Which of the following tables best represents the situation? Originally, I wasn't sure about this problem, but after thinking about it for a minute or two, I did realize a couple things. So, I do know that there are 24 gallons of water in the sink, and that per minute it is draining 3. Well, X is the number of minutes. Well, if 1 minute passes, there's not going to be 24 gallons in the sink, right? Because it's drained 3 gallons by now. Comparing that number, like look at A and C. 1 minute passed and there's still 24 gallons of water. So X is your minutes, right? and Y is your gallons. Okay, so we got X is our minutes. We have 1 minute that passed, and there's still 24 gallons of water. Well, that doesn't really represent the situation here, does it? It says that after a minute, right? After a minute, per minute, it's draining 3 gallons. Well, a minute passed, and there's still 24 gallons in letter A here. That's no good. However, I do look at letter C, and I see that 0 minutes passed, and there's still 24 gallons. That's okay. No time has passed. There should be no water drained from the sink. There should be still 24 gallons in there. So I thought C was going to be a good option. All right. The only problem with C is that if 2 minutes passed, 6 gallons should have been drained, right? Because every minute there should be -3. But that would be for 1 minute. So let's just imagine for a second that there were another box here, right? Where I had 1 minute, and then how many gallons would there be after it drained? Well, after 1 minute, I wouldn't have 24 gallons anymore. I would have 21 gallons in my sink. Well, this one says after 2 minutes, there's still 21 gallons in there. That doesn't make any sense to me, because what that's saying is that only 3 gallons were drained after 2 minutes. Well, I already know that 3 gallons are drained per 1 minute. This should be what I'm looking for here, 1 over 21. So when I looked over here to part B, I found this ratio right here of 1 to 21. And I already knew that it wasn't D either, because 1 minute passed and there were still 24 gallons in there. If a minute passes, 24 needs to decrease by 3. 24 minus 3. 24 minus 3 is 21. So I already kind of knew by looking at these tables that really none of them represented. If it had a 1 in it, then the number below should have been 21, and that's not good, right? The number below should be 21, right? 1 minute passed, 24 gallons should have decreased by 3. The only one that was confusing was this one, because I knew that 0 minutes passed, which means there was 24 gallons still in there. Well, this one decreased by 3, but if 2 minutes passed, this shouldn't have been a 21, right? What's 24 take away 6, right? That shouldn't be a 21 there. If we were following that rate, 21 should really be 18. If you were doing this correctly, this would be wrong. Alright, so I think I've made it pretty obvious which one it is. Alright, but you can go ahead and circle it. I can tell you right now, if it's highlighted, that's not it. These are the wrong ratios. Number 10. Which of these does not represent the number of minutes in an hour? Alright, so they want the one that does not represent the number of minutes in an hour. Well, this graph right here is showing us that in 1 minute, in 1 hour, there's 120 minutes. Thinking hats on. All right. For B, well, if I take Y and divide it by X, so X is going to be time and Y is going to be minutes, so I could take 120 and divide it by 2. And if I get 60 per every one, this is going to represent the amount of minutes there are in 1 hour. Guys, remember one thing, that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So your constant should be equaling 60 each time. If your constant is equaling 60 each time, you're good to go. I can already see here that there's a 60. And again, if I have, for part D, there's 240 divided by 4. Alexa, what's 240 divided by 4?
240 divided by 4 is 60.
Alexa, let's look at part B. Oh, Alexa, turn off. Look at part B. Y divided by X. Alexa, what's 120 divided by 2?
120 divided by 2 is 60.
Okay. Now let's look at the graph right here. Well, it says that Y is 120 in 1 hour. So I have 120 minutes in 1 hour. I don't know about that one. Not really. I don't really think that that's 60 minutes in 1 hour. This graph is telling me that in 1 hour there's 120 minutes. So big hints there, okay? I know these worksheets can be a little tough, but I'm hoping with the videos that it really helps you and it modifies it enough so that it makes it a little bit easier for you as you guys go through these worksheets, okay? I think proportional relationships is very important, okay? It describes cooking, right? If we have to make a single serving of pancakes, I can take that single serving and multiply it by how many people are in my family, right? Something like this is going to be very important to your real life skills. So, again, proportional relationships are unit rate. You can figure out how much each cost of toilet paper there is in a pack of 24. If a pack of 24 toilet papers, right, costs $24, that means each roll in there is $1, right? So, this is going to be something that you're using in your real life, but I want you guys to stay safe and take care.